Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a little bit different type of video. I'm going to be doing a video on Viktor because there's been a lot of comments about Viktor, and so I want to kind of share my thoughts, some tips and tricks for winning lane and potentially impacting the map, my recommendations for runes and summoners and things of that sort. So we'll start off by quickly talking about Viktor in terms of runes. I've played around a little bit. I've played around with Spellbook. I've played around with now Comet. I think purely because of, Viktor in any matchup where he's favorable and can poke out the enemy, into any lower range mage like Oriana, etc. I actually think Comet's really good for that poke. So I like to go Comet, and I like to go Transcendence, and then I like to go Scorch, because Scorch adds on to his poke, and he doesn't really need Gathering Storm because he scales so well anyway, and Mana Flow Band obviously. And for secondary tree, I actually really like going Magical Footwear, because you need that gold as much as you can to power your items, because Viktor is so heavily item reliant. So I like going Magical Footwear, and then I like going Biscuit Delivery just for help me to get through to my first base, which is 1150 gold, so I can get my first Hex Core upgrade. But again, I'm playing around with biscuits versus, Time Orb, etc., those type of things, but I'm still playing around with that, but definitely Magical Footwear. So in terms of build, in a matchup where you think is favorable, I really like going Doran's Ring and 2 health pots. So when you go down this route, this means that you're not going to be looking to trade HP all the time. It generally means that you're going to be taking favorable trades because you outrange them. Let's just say I was versing a matchup that's a little bit more tricky, and I think it's going to be a lot of heavy trading. I would actually probably go Corrupting Pot, because I know that I'll be trading a lot more HP. But since I'm versing a Veigar and I know I outrange him, I'm pretty safe to go Doran's this game, and it just adds to my damage in the early game. And because I'm versing a Veigar, I would have obviously loved to take TP and take TP whenever you can. But because I'm versing a Veigar, I had to take Cleanse. So in the early game here, a bit of like an invade happens. They kill us. And then I end up stopping some bases here on the way out, which is really big. So I'm going to step you through the laning phase, and then my thoughts along the way, and tips on how to win lane on Viktor, and what I think about when I play Viktor, because I was a really big Viktor player back in the day. And wait, let me just turn off these things here, make it a little bit easier for you. Yeah, and I was a really big Viktor player back in the day, so it'd be good to share my thoughts on it. So first thing that you need to take into account when you play these matchups. Alright, Viktor is one of those champions that, again, like I said, relies on getting to your 1150 gold so you can base and get your Hex Core. So what generally stops you from getting that 1150 gold? So generally it's mana. And when I see a lot of mid laners play, or even Diamond, Platinum, Gold, the number one thing I see is unnecessary mana usage. And so a really quick tip that you can do when you play any mage is look to conserve mana by only trading when your mana flow band is up. In the early game here, I felt, I'm doing this specifically because Veigar actually had no pots because he used them in the invade. So I actually wanted to start chunking him early to maybe send him back early. So if something happens early game and they use pots, and even in any part of the lane, anyone who doesn't get pots on their base and greeds for it, you should trade onto them, because that is like a really quick way to punish them. So yeah, like I was saying before, a lot of mid laners I watch, they go all the time. It's because they use abilities when their mana flow is not up, and they don't manage their mana in consideration to their total gold. So for example, right, say I'm trying to save 1100 gold. If I use all my mana in the first 3 minutes and I only get up to around 500 gold, then I'm going to be sitting or on a very little amount of mana for a long time. And so something to think about is use your mana gradually, and you want to look to burn your mana and conserve enough mana to get to that desired gold amount. So again, I'm trying to use my abilities when they're on, when my mana flow band's up. And I tried to back up my jungle here. And then I actually had to blow my cleanse here. So It's unfortunate because I had tried to help the jungler. So straight away, you may look at this and be like, oh yeah, that's your jungler being bad. But this, yes, my jungler made a mistake here. But something to think about is that this is one of the limitations of Viktor. If there are any of these early skirmishes around scuttles, around buffs, Viktor is very, very average. And you can say a lot of champions are also like that. Oris are also average, you know, Azir, Corki, all these Cassio, they're all average. But Viktor especially is really poor. And the main reason, if he uses his mana on a fight and comes back to lane, like this type of thing happens. I've got not much mana. I don't really want to base right now, and their mid lane is just kind of TP'd back. So something to think about here when you're playing Viktor is there's two options, two things that you can do. So, two strategies. If you feel like you can survive the lane and kind of give a little bit of pressure or survive until you have 1150, that's recommended. But if you can't, the next best strategy is to try and conserve a lot of your mana, get pushed in all the way into tower, and then on the wave, just before a cannon wave, you use all your mana, and then spam all your abilities on the minion wave, and then base. And then what that's going to do, you can base for like a Dark Seal refillable, you can base for like whatever you want to, a Doran's ring, an extra Doran's ring or something like that. That's like a really quick, easy way to kind of get out of laning phase, or at least get a decent base. So right now, Vegas, I've had to let him shove me in because I don't want to. I mean, I have to accept reality right now because I went for that invade. Again, right now I'm farming. I'm at 900 gold. I'm just about to trying to get to my my 1150. And notice how I'm not just, when I use my laser, I'm trying to use my laser on the wave and on Veigar. I never just use my laser on Veigar because then the wave will get too big. So I'm trying to do a double whammy and thin the wave and hit him at the same time, which is a much better use of the summoner. I mean the ability. So right now, Thresh kind of comes up and blows my flash. I don't really have much mana here, but a great thing about this whole thing is that Veigar ends up dying, and look at this, he didn't get to fix his wave right now, and then I end up killing Thresh. So I have 1500 gold. If I look at the state of my wave, it's actually slow pushing. It's got more minions than I have minions, so it's going to slow push into me. So I feel comfortable just basing, because I know this won't crash into my tower. And look, perfect. I'm coming out of base. I've got my Hex Core. I've got a pink. I've got a health pot. Like, I'm ready to go right now. And look at this. Just as I get in lane, it hasn't even crashed, so I come back. So, you might ask, okay, now this is where the domination starts with Viktor. If you get this buy, you have a lot of control over the minion wave. And especially, and say when you verse someone who doesn't all in on getting health pots, and Veigar's actually opted into boots first, which is really troll. I can just poke him and he has to get sent back to lane. So that's something straight away you should be thinking about. And look at this. Actually, I was a little scared right here, so I actually thought I had to ward. So I actually do a really shitty ward here soon. I'm pretty sure I just pink in here because I was scared the jungle's going to be around. Which is actually a really bad ward. I actually should have shoved this out, used my E throughout the whole wave, and then pinked the pixel brush here. So, now this is, where the domination starts. And notice how I'm trying to hit the wave and Veigar, so like, it's just easier for me to thin. And right now, he looks like he's going all the way back. Oh no, and he ends up having to go in river to get the fruit. So I try to intercept him here. And they escape. So this is what the enemy mid laner has to do if he doesn't buy pots. He has to like rely on getting those plants. And Veigar ends up trying to cheese bot or something, so I just hard shove mid and Veigar just loses a shit ton of farm. Okay, so this is super important. So right now, a lot of mid laners in the game at the moment in the meta, such as Ryze, such as Kiana, such as even Twisted Fate, all these champions, when they have this room, they get given this room, they generally have the option to like go for a roam. But when I'm Viktor, and this is what I call like This is like the downside of playing these style of champions in solo queue. Yes, I get really ahead, right? I get this play, I get a bunch of gold, great. I'm like up 800, like 600 gold individually. But I'm not really impacting the map, am I? I'm winning my lane, and yes, that will win me 55% of my games. But if you really want to climb super fast, like win 60 to 65% of your games, this is where these opportunities, instead of getting plates, I would like look to roam top here. I could have looked to roam somewhere. I could have looked to like walk in here and cheese the jungle on his way back. Like all these things I can't do when I'm playing Viktor. And that's just the sad reality of playing this style of champion. So instead, your objective has to be crushing your lane as much as possible to get so far ahead that you can out carry in team fights. That should be your objective right now. So again, I'm just looking to poke because Veigar didn't buy pots again, which is like super troll. But even if he did buy pots, I would still be poking him because I just outrange him really hard. All right. Okay, so let's go back here. So, a lot of the time, I remember here I had a lot of gold. I had 1340 gold, so I actually wanted to base to get my either last chapter. I think I really like going. If I have 1300 gold, I really like going last chapter, or getting my hex core and like something else. And I remember, okay, there's two things here. My jungler is basing. I kind of want to push this wave in and base, but also Veigar is here, and he has no pots, so I have an option. So this is what good Victors also do, and it's a smart use of your ultimate, is you can either ultimate the wave and just blow everything on the wave and reset, or you can walk up to them, blow your ultimate. You know you probably won't kill them, but look at this. And I'm waiting for like when he goes up for this creep, because I know he's looking for this cannon creep. So then he walks up trying to go for that cannon creep, and I blow all my stuff on this guy. And yes, he doesn't die. But what happens now is that I just get to free shove this wave because my wave clear is so good, and then I just get to base, and he gets denied 6 creeps. So when you want to base, using ultimate is, or just in lane, say you come back to lane and he has no pots, you can just walk up to him, ult him, and then he gets chunked. And a lot of people I see as well hold on to their ult. It's the same as Orianna. It's the same as sometimes Syndra. It's the same as like a lot of these mages. You can just walk up and ult them for damage, and that gives you so much control. It gives you a great base, or it gives you ability to go get vision. It's a really creative use of ultimate, which then allows you to give you space. So right now I base, get my last chapter. I'm really, really strong right now. I'm nearly up 1,000 gold individually. So let's see what I do with this lead. And then... So now I should start again I want to look to poke as much as I can. I'm missing my E's, which is pretty bad. I try to help here a little bit. So look how much damage one E does. Like, he just gets destroyed. Alright. And now, this is like 10 minutes onwards, it starts to get into more objective fights. Like whether it's... Rift Herald or dragons and things like that. So this is one thing that can be a little scary for Viktor because he's not overly good at that. But now again, I'm just pushing. Plates. And again, this is another example of when I'm forced to go for plates because my roams are not good. So... And I think, and as well, like, it's not that I'm forced, it's beneficial for me to go for these plates because it helps me achieve my overall condition as Viktor. Which is, again, my overall condition of Viktor and win condition is to dominate my lane, chunk out my opponent, and then look to do things and scale into the mid to late game. I don't want to look to roam because I need farm and XP. So they gank, whatever. Push. And this is the perfect example of like things like this. These type of like jungle fights, yes, I shouldn't have backed up my team here, but whenever I'm forced to respond to anything in the jungle, I can just get eaten alive by specific junglers that can dive on me, and can be really frustrating. Like, even though I'm really fed, this Kha'Zix can just kill me, and it's the same for a lot of champions. And sometimes it can be really frustrating when your team's trying to do things and you're scared to move in because you just want to sit mid and poke. So this is like one of the main reasons as well. Viktor's not too popular in solo queue for that specific reason. And now look, You know, and now my ability to kind of out carry this is 80 carry. Like he's 7-1. Yes, it's like a bit of an anomaly of a game. Like my bot just got absolutely destroyed. But again, it's one of those like Victor's one of those champions. Like you die once, and then your ability to carry is like kind of gone down the drain. Now you're just going to be a consistent damage to it, but you're not going to be able to out carry a Fed 80 carry. So and then again, I just want to constantly look to push, 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 poke, poke, poke. And a tip here, I wanted to get these plates down and before Lee Sin uses his Herald, because remember it automatically gets two. So if I get these two first before the Rift Herald hits, it'll kill it in one shot, and then bam. All right, so I hope you learned a few things here. And in terms of build path, I really like going Hex Core first upgrade, then into Lost Chapter, then finish my Hex Core, and then get Ludens. I think it really fits Victor's kit really well. And then after that, after Ludens, I like to get some defensive things, whether it's some more items with HP, like Oblivion Orb or something like that, or even just Zonya's. I don't need Rylai's anymore because he has built-in Rylai's with his Hex Core thing now, so that's kind of how I feel about that. So hopefully you kind of get my hesitation towards playing Victor. And this game, we end up getting stomped because bot lane, but obviously, you know, if bot was even, I could have won. But you're not going to get these favorable matchups all the time. But if you do see a mid lane mage that, you know, someone blinds a mid lane mage, Victor can be a good punish. So, and it can be a good substitute for Orianna. So thanks for watching. I hope this was really helpful. I want to let me know in the comments if this is something you want to see more of, like deep dive into one specific champion or not. I felt like it might be helpful to some people since a few people were talking about Victor. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. Thanks for the support. Cheers.